Hi, Travis Combs here. It is 3rd of June, 2020, and this is my third day of abstinence, fasting from porn, masturbation, orgasm. So, yeah, as I stated earlier, I saw my first Playboy or pen. I don't remember the title, but I saw my first Playboy or Penthouse. I think it was with my friends across the street in the suburbs of Denver. And it's about 6 years old. Became a pastime of me and this particular fellow was to look at his old man's dirty magazines, right? I think it was a very Gen X thing to look at your father's Playboys and penthouses, you know. There was no DV, there was no internet there was no internet, at least not available to the public, you know. And anyway, um, so today, yeah, no, there was porn actually. Yeah, I was actually looking at Chatterbait, which is a jack off site that you can masturbate with girls behind glass, or in this case, girls behind pixelation. I mean, they're real and you can communicate with them, but there's that uh, second degree of removal from plated glass to plated pixelation, you know, a monitor screen. But anyway, so there was porn. Didn't masturbate, didn't come. So why I'm trying to do this, I want to take one. I want one more stab at a girlfriend. I still would like to do the whole cohabitation with my lover, possibly marriage. You know, I still believe in the institution. I think it has a valid and real social effect, familial effect. Anyway, cruised down Colfax too, East Colfax. You know, so I was on the hunt for hooks, man. And you know, because my sex addiction's pretty deep, dude. It doesn't just stop with porn. I mean, I've had sex with dozens of prostitutes. I want to say like two dozen, two and a half dozen. That's about right. Two and a half dozen. That's about right. A few I actually dated, strangely enough, you know. It ended up being kind of a relationship vibe, or at least a dating vibe. And anyway, so I didn't find anybody, thank heavens, and I accepted my fate and just drove home. And I'm pretty, I'm pretty happy that I'm home, and I'm gonna refrain from any porn and masturbation and orgasm. So I'm digging the video diaries too. A friend of mine actually told me to write everything down, but I believe I'm taking the lazy way out and just talk about it. You know. So yeah. Okay. So first porn magazine at about 6. Found my mother's massager vibrator right at 10, and I had my first masturbatory experience. Um, that was a rough time. That was about 10 years old. Um, Started masturbating regularly to porn, coming to orgasm right at the normal time, about 13 years old. 14 was it became very heavy at about 14, and it carried all the way till now. Um, Pornography, especially, and in fact, I developed um, types at this point in time in terms of the type of female that I find sexually attractive, right? Which may or not be real if you think about it, because you know, you're looking at an image and you're getting that dopamine hit and the association that accompanies it with, you know, your perception and then the image, right? The woman. So I don't know, you know, but honestly, I don't know what I find attractive. You know, there's certain types, I'm off track. There's certain types of women um, that I think were kind of formed in my head as desirable sex partners at this point, 13, 14. Saw my first prostitute at 19, 19 years old, at a hotel on 10th and Broadway. Call girl. I called her up. I spent the night, called her up. She came over, and yeah, it was fun, you know. I remember it. Remember it well. Um, Lost my virginity to a quote unquote real girlfriend about a year before, year and a half before, at 18. That was a disaster. I was a crier. Anytime she threatened to leave me, which was nearly from the beginning of the relationship, you know, I would break down in tears and try to manipulate her that way, even though it wasn't intentional. At least I didn't perceive it as intentional at the time. Um, there was a girl before her as well. That there was actually I can't even say it. Yeah, it drove me to a suicide attempt, and this was about 14 years old. If I knew that, if I knew what I know now, I would have lost my virginity 4 years before I did. But oh well, you know. So yeah, so far so good. I don't have a time frame per se of why I want to do this, or you know when I'm going to do this, um, or the length of time I want to do this. I do want to do a Carolyn, Peter Carroll type uh, occult ritual, for lack of a better word. When the time comes to orgasm, I hope to manifest a woman, dude. I really do. I want to manifest a woman. So um, even a date. I'm actually thinking of asking my family and friends to set me up on a blind date. You know, I've been reading up on dating etiquette and how to get more of what you want in the spirit of compromise and love from your relationships, right? And mine in particular, with women. So that's all I got to say. Um, have a good night.